Welcome to Live 365 Radio. It's your girl Stacy J. And that is what we're here to do, to influence you on how to love, because that is one of the most talked about conversations all over, right? Relationships, dating, finding that mate. And I have the honor of having love and success coach and best-selling author who specializes in helping everyday people find extraordinary love. And that is what we want, right? We want extraordinary love, not that BS that y'all be getting into and all that. And so tonight we're talking to Mr. Bryon Jamal. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you so much, Stacy, for having me. How you doing today?
I am amazing, grateful, and blessed. And I know when we say that, people are like, oh, that's cliche. No, I'm serious. When you do that work, you'll feel amazing too.
I know that's right.
So thank you for being on the show. And I know that, you have a new book out, and you have several books out, but you have the 7 steps to the ultimate self-love. You have successful love, navigating the 6 phases of a love journey, the call path, a journey into love, and finding love in the midst of unlovable, right? So all these books, love, love, love. What made you take this pivotal point to talk about love?
Well, one of the things that I realized about love as a young kid who was obese, was an isolated kid, was really awkward, was wrestling with his sexuality, I attempted suicide. And after that, I found myself through being saved. And in that time, I over the course of time, I became a minister, then a pastor. And as I stepped away from the church, I realized that there was a work that needed to be done outside of the 4 walls of the church,
Mhm.
because a lot of people were leaving church every Sunday and still were going home and in depression and committing suicide and feeling isolated and lonely. And I said, well, if all these churches are on every corner, something's got to be wrong. We got to be doing something off here.
Right.
So I realized my work was to help people in a real space where I could have the honest conversations. And so that's how I got into the work of being a love and success coach, surviving suicide and coming into a space where I could realize that love could transform my life.
That's amazing, because when you think about the church, you go to church because you're trying to heal, you get closer to God, your spirituality, and you find out that sometimes the church has so many issues and so many people that are judging you, and creating this facade of what love looks like or what life looks like, and people will shy away. So to be able to see that you were in this and then decided, like, hey, I need to take a deep dive into me, is just kudos to you.
Thank you. It's not easy. I was criticized at first, but as my work has grown, I think more people have seen that this is really a healthier way. As
Mhm.
people are leaving church in droves, and that more of the younger generation is not even connecting with modern church, it's so essential that we adapt and grow to what
Mhm.
the church is doing. It's stated that statistically, the church is normally 10 years minimum behind the culture. And
Mhm.
so that means you have 10 years of people, a whole generation of people that are going through real life things that
Right.
aren't getting real life solutions. And when you really think about church, it's the only place where people are sick. We say it's a hospital, but it's the
Mhm.
only place where people are sick where they have to come in healthy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely true. So, what can women and men learn from your book? Because I know you have a new book called "Dating Men," and that is let me get this exclusive guide to find, attract, and keep the man you deserve. So, let me just tell you a little bit, because before you get into this, because I really want to hear it. Is I've been married, I've dated, I've had a
Mm,
boyfriend, and I just recently got out of, well, it's not recently, but 5 year relationship,
okay.
right? And so
Yes.
when I was in this relationship, at the time that I met him, I was like, I wasn't looking for anything. I had my little list I had wrote down without the bullet points, because you got to be specific. But I had this list, and I met this guy, seemed really great, right? Checking off some of the boxes. But then in the relationship, I found out I'm dating a narcissist, right?
Mm,
And so I had to, once we broke up, I had to take a deep dive into me and do some personal development and figure out what was your role in it. Why did you
yeah.
accept it? What was going on with you, really, because I'm the root. I'm the problem. So maybe I need to, see what's going on in my life. So when I saw this book, Dating Men, and it's like how to attract them, that's where I am in my life now. Like I'm single, I'm happily single. That does not mean I don't want welcome love. And that's why
Right.
I'm interested in the book. I welcome it. I just needed to do some work on me so that I can make sure that I'm not repeating cycles. So,
Exactly.
what are some of the things in your book that, that you discuss with this?
Well, one of the hardest things about dealing with the attraction side, especially after you've been out of a relationship for a while or had been in one that lasted for a while and then found out something, it's hard to really trust again. So, getting to a place where you can believe in love.
Mhm.
I think that's number one, really, because if you don't have the positive energy about love, it's hard to
Mhm.
manifest it in your life. A lot of times, what we do is we have this single bitterness and we
Mhm.
wonder why we're not attracting relational happiness. But
Right.
you don't get something sweet out of something bitter. And so, if you're in a bitter space about it, if you're skeptical about it, if you're doubtful, if you're saying things like there are no good men, all men lie, all men cheat, all men do whatever.
Dog.
Yeah, right. If you're saying that, then you're manifesting that. See, your energy, the main thing that attracts things into your life is your energy. And so if your energy is in that space
Mhm.
that's repellent to a man, then you can't expect that the universe is going to send you one. And so
Exactly.
it's really important to first get your own energy aligned with what it is that you want. I do things like tell my clients when we do love coaching that I do an assessment of their space.
Mhm.
So, do you have one toothbrush or do you have two? Do you have one lamp and one nightstand, or do you have two? Because, see, if you're ready, subconsciously, if you're living a single life with only one of everything, then
Mhm.
that means you're really not ready for being in a relationship. And
Oh.
so, even little things like how you live, if your car seat in your passenger seat is always dirty, then that means you really aren't subconsciously ready to have anyone beside you. See what I'm saying? So, it's little things that you can do that show you if you're really in the space to receive or not. And once you realize you're not, changing it can
Mhm.
help you open yourself up to attracting it.
Yes, I heard someone say before, like with women that are single in the bed and you got all this stuff piled up on the side of your bed. It's like, how can you welcome someone in if you got clutter everywhere? And I am a firm believer in the energy. That's how I move now. That is how I work. That's how I play. That's how I friends, people
Yes.
meet. If the energy is not right, remember when you was younger and people go, you just acting funny. And you like,
Ah,
oh, you don't just like her. And I'm like, no, it's something within me that's telling me I don't not that they're a bad person, but we don't connect. And we ignore that. Intuition, gut feeling, whatever it is, we ignore that. I don't ignore that no more. When I
don't
tell
ignore it.
when
That's the
I
worst thing
tell
you can
you,
do.
I say it's not right, it's not right. And another thing I want to get your opinion on is that, and this is just my belief, when I was doing this, work, and it's been going on since January of 2020, I looked at my upbringing and I said,
Mm.
what were my examples of love? Looked at my mom, I looked at my dad, I looked at what I heard about love. What my aunties, you got the auntie like, girl, keep you a man. You got different people that say different things. And it's like, have I cultivated that to be my idea of being in a relationship? So do you think that has a big major part to do with that, is depending on what you saw as love as a child. Also, if you were told to love yourself, because you think about it, sometimes you're not really taught to love yourself. You're taught to
Mm-mm.
share, you're taught to give, you're taught not to be mean, not to do this, and then you take that into your adulthood. Now when you date, you have that same ideology.
Absolutely. So you're spot on with that, in that a lot of people grow up and they have the best intending parents, but the parents can say certain things like, um, hey, don't say that. Or when you're trying to express your opinion. And
Mhm.
so, and that's just one example. So, as an adult, because your opinion has not been validated by your adult parent, now when you get into a relationship and you want to give an opinion, you end up biting your tongue because you were told that that's not something that you should do. Another
Mhm.
thing that parents can do subconsciously and really inadvertently sometimes is simply tell their child that something is wrong about them.
Yeah.
And so it could be that you're not smart enough, that you need to lose some weight, that you need to get yourself together or you'll never have a man. And
Right.
so when you hear those kind of things subconsciously, now you're so open to a man, any man that gives you attention because you think there's something about me that I don't really deserve a man. And so if
Hmm.
a man gives any man gives me attention, then I should just drop what I'm doing and say yes, because who else is going to love me?
Yeah.
And just those two things alone have messed up a lot of people who have wanted the affection of a partner and didn't know how to communicate their needs, wants, and desires, and didn't really feel confident enough to let things go when they
Yeah.
saw this wasn't the right person because they didn't feel validated within themselves.
That would have been me. And stayed in them long-term relationships, long marriages, nothing against them, but you stay longer than you're supposed to. And the flags is just as red as my shirt here, right here. They're like,
Come on. Come
and we
on.
just ignore them. And so I'm like, yeah, no more of that. I'm gonna put on my glasses, y'all, because I am
Yeah,
struggling. But I didn't want to put them on because I just, So,
they're nice. You should put them on. They're nice.
thank you. I look school teacher. So I wanted to ask you, how does your book fit in with the current approach with virtual dating? People are meeting, these dating apps, the swiping, everything. And I think, getting to know somebody online could be beneficial because you get to talk, you get to kind of know a little bit about each other. But what are your take on that?
Yeah, so the book definitely goes into that a bit because it was written during COVID. What I've taught always, even before COVID, about online dating is it's so beneficial. And here's a couple reasons why. Number
Mhm.
one, especially if you meet on a social media platform, you have now a litany of things that you can really do to assess this person is. Before you even reach out to them, before you're even in the DMs, you can even see if this person is potentially a good person.
Mhm.
From there, you also have pictures. So now you're not catfished by a potential imposter. If you're on an app like Tinder or something like that, where
Mhm.
they could potentially be a catfish, you always, by the time you get a little more serious, take it to a video conference.
Okay.
This allows you to hear their voice. I can't tell you how many people get into a relationship or start talking to people online, hear that voice, and they are like, no, thank you.
That would be
Uh,
me.
it's
Because you hear the voice, and you're like, I don't like the
like,
way
I'm not dating Mickey Mouse. I'm not dating Daffy Duck. I am not dating Goofy. Okay, we are not doing Disney characters today. So it is really important to hear their voice because even as children, when we're in the womb, we hear our parents' voices. So we
Mhm.
attract very naturally to voices. Voices allure us. This is why we like entertainers so much, why we like singers so much, because a voice, we attach to a voice and
Mhm.
we become very much so accommodated to the voice, and it attaches to who we are.
Yeah.
So the voice is important, but the face is important too. And so you want to know if this person is attractive to you. Not this, are they attractive, but are they attracted to you? Is it someone that you could wake up and look at every day? If those two things aren't there,
Mhm.
which the video conferencing helps, you don't need to go on a physical date. And so what
Right.
I use that as, I want my clients not to waste a dollar or a dime on a first date if they already know that they're not really attracted to the some of the key things that most people initially need to see.
Yeah, and people they'll be like, "Well, he's nice, and I want to step out." I'm like, "No," because if you don't like him on when you're looking at him, and then you gonna try to have a lifetime with him, and you don't know what he's gonna look like then. So that's one of the things with the energy. It's like if you don't connect with the
Yeah.
personality, the mental, the emotional, then and you don't look like nothing because like you said, it's important to you. Somebody might look at me and go, "She all right," you know what I'm saying, and you might
Right.
have somebody else that go, "She bad," and
She
somebody
the
may
bomb.
say she's
Right.
ugly. So whatever the case may be, I don't. You're right. I don't want anybody wasting their time on me, and I sure ain't gonna waste my time on nobody else.
This is why people get bitter in dating. I talk about dating as I remember. I'm the type of person who does not like shopping long for something. So when I walk into a store, I literally want to find it when I first walk in. So it's the hardest thing when I first went sofa shopping. It was the first time I ever went sofa shopping, and I'll never forget one of my friends in college telling me, Byron, in order to go sofa shopping, it's not something you can just do online because you have to sit. in a few seats in order to know what you like.
Right.
You don't know what kind of sofa you really like, how firm, how soft, how plush, what color. You don't really know what you're going to connect with until you sit in a few. And
Yeah.
what we do is we get too connected to the first sofa we sit in, even if it's not really comfortable, we try to make it comfortable. And
Yeah.
so when we realize and wake up to the fact that I really don't like the sofa, now we've invested so much time and energy into that sofa that we are ashamed of ourselves and don't want to go to others. My thing is go to the furniture store, sit in all of them if you have to, and then make a decision.
Exactly. And that should be how you think of dating. It's like, oh, this one nice. It's like, what about that one? What about that one? You know. And I want to ask you, do you talk about in your book, because I haven't read it yet, but I'll be getting mine, attachment versus connection?
Absolutely. I actually talked about the three C's: chemistry, connection, and catch this, chemistry, connection, and the truth, which is the one that you really need, which is the divine source and the cosmic energy. It is the one that when you really dive in, it's easy to have a connection with somebody, like a chemistry with somebody. You can make chemistry, right? You can make things in a lab. That's easy. The other one is compatibility. So when you can be compatible with somebody, let's say you work in the same industry, you
Yeah.
have the same work hours, you both like politics, you both like music, so you're compatible. Chemistry and compatibility, two things that compatibility you can kind of maneuver if you decide to be invested in what they're invested in. Let's say they like sports, you don't like sports, but you decide you're going to like sports for them. That's compatibility. Chemistry is a whole nother thing because you can make that also by
Mhm.
being able to maneuver conversations, laugh at their jokes. Now they're feeling something, you're feeling something, but a connection that
Mhm.
is divine.
That's
A connection is something that you cannot manipulate. It is not something you can manufacture. It is something that happens directly at the source level within you. Your inner man, that divine source in you says yes or no. It
yeah.
says this is lighting up everything inside of me, or this is dull, this is boring, and this is not it. And when
Yeah.
you listen to that above all else, you will always choose the right way.
I know that's right. You gotta say that. I can high five you right there. I'm telling you, I've been doing my work. You need a assist to call me.
Come on now.
What advice do you give people to prepare themselves for love? Because for me, like the way I'm talking, it's because I finally start preparing myself. I start doing work. So, what is some advice that you give your clients to prepare themselves?
Absolutely. So first, clean up your space, your sanctuary, your sacred space, your bedroom. Start with your bedroom. Get out anything old that reminds you of anything and anybody that you've known from your past. Start with a clean slate. Sage it. Like do everything that you can to get divine. Then allow yourself to find a spiritual practice that allows you to gain confidence with who you are and the divine source, understanding that your worth is not based on anyone else's opinion of you. Once you are very confident that you are enough, when you get to that place where you are truly enough for yourself, then you are allowing someone into your life instead of begging someone into your life. And you really get to that place where you choose more wisely. I tell people it's very difficult to go to the grocery store hungry.
Yeah.
So when you get to a place where you're not hungry for a partner, where you're like, I'm allowing someone in my life. I'm not desperate for someone. You when you at the grocery store hungry, you just pulling off stuff off the aisle
Everything.
that
Everything.
you don't even need, right? And so when you are in this space where you're not hungry, that's my second thing. Third and final thing I'll give is you also want to find you something that gives you joy in your daily life.
Yeah.
Don't ever, ever, ever try to find somebody to make you happy.
Right.
Find happiness in your own life because people are attracted to happy people. Nobody wants to be with somebody miserable who they
Good.
can make happy.
Yeah.
People want to find happy people. So you got to be happy with your life already. So you should
Mhm.
already be having friends you go out with. You should already be going on the trips you want to go on. You should
Yep.
already be going to the dinner spots you want to go. Make your life happy. Someone will see you happy and they will want to join your happiness.
Man, I don't know about y'all, but this was for me. We should have just talked on the phone because this is such great information because I understand now, you know what I mean? And so when it comes to, wanting to attract, it's like, what does your house look like? What does your mind, your heart, and all that looks like? So, I'm so happy to hear, you have a man, that can speak to this because you're a man. And so when women, we like, I know what men want and I know this, and we don't even know nothing, So to be able to have, someone that can guide you. And I always say is we get a trainer for working out. You get different coaches for things, and sometimes people don't think about love coaches
Not
or
at
just
all.
one that can help them with personal development to get there. And it's okay. It's this thing, like they say all the time in the Black community, that you crazy. It's like I
Yeah.
love talking to counselors, coaches, therapists, psychiatrists, whatever, and people I don't know, because I feel, one, you've done the work. And that's what we're paying you for. And I ain't gotta worry about you going to tell my business because I signed a
Right.
contract. You know what I
That
mean?
part.
So that's the part, talking to your friends that they don't know they butt from a hole in the ground. Their relationships are tanking. So this is why I like to have people like yourself on the show, because I am here to empower, inspire, and educate. And what you
Hello.
don't know and I know, I'm here to share it. You know what I mean? So I want to thank you so, so, so much. And I need you to tell everybody how they gonna get with you so they can get their love life together and follow you and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. Look, Stacey, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for having me on. Look, I'm easy to find because I believe love should be. So you can find me easily at BryonJamal.com and at Bryon Jamal on all social media platforms, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. I'm a little funny sometime on TikTok. Find me on there and check out my newest book, Dating Men, which is an inclusive guide for men and women who are looking for the love of a man, to help you find, attract, and keep the man that you deserve. Because look, you are worth the love you seek. So you
That's
should
right.
always be seeking higher love.
Yes, and I want to thank Leslie from Top PR Firm for having it's so great to have relationships with people. And then, because I don't know how this happened, but it was divine. It was divine. And so I was so excited about having you on. And so I appreciate you. I appreciate Leslie. And I look forward to us doing something else in the future very soon.
I can't wait. Look, keep doing what you're doing. It's absolutely necessary.
Oh, thank you. And guys, you can catch me on YouTube, the XOD network. You can download that from Google or Apple and subscribe to YouTube so you'll know when I'm dropping dope content like this. And make sure you go and follow him and get your love life together. Okay.